Hey, what's up, triathletes? Taren here. If you're a bit of a time crunch triathlete and you've got a tough time getting in all the workouts and you're wondering what the very best workouts you can do to get the most out of your triathlon training plan are, stick around because today we're going to go through 5 of the best bang for your buck workouts that you can incorporate so you don't have to put in those 15, 20, 25 hour plus weeks to do well. For starters, I'm going to give a bit of a caveat and say that these recommendations don't necessarily do well in 2 instances. The first instance is if you're looking to make the Olympics or hit the podium or have the absolute best race that you possibly can. You're not going to get that out of these workouts.
What was the second instance?
In the second instance, these also don't really apply to half Ironman, Ironman, Ultraman, long distance races. They work really well for sprints and Olympic. So if you're entering a sprint or an Olympic distance race and you want to compete and do it decently well, but you're not looking to get that absolute tippy top best performance that you possibly can or go into the long distance races, these 5 workouts will really help you out. They're going to make you stronger without taking a huge amount of time. The number 1 best workout that you can do is a long bike. You're probably going to be worried about how you have the endurance to swim for a long distance, how you have the endurance to run for a long distance. Well, if you focus on the bike, that ability to have long-lasting endurance in your lungs and your cardiovascular system, it actually translates over quite well to the run and the swim. Now, it's very hard to build that sort of endurance in the running and the swimming because you don't want to be running or swimming for hours and hours on end. Biking, however, it's quite a bit easier to put in those heavy volumes, and it actually helps out your bike as well. So it helps out the bike and it helps out the other 2 sports, building endurance for the entire triathlon. So do 1 long bike every single week, building up your endurance for the bike and the entire sport in general. The second really good workout that you can do is an 1.5 hour long brick workout that is a little bit different than most brick workouts because instead of doing a big bike and then going on to a run, you do a bunch of mini bikes and a bunch of mini runs. The purpose of this workout is to get your legs used to rerouting the blood flow from all your biking muscles into your running muscles very quickly. And the more times you go from the bike to the run, the more ability your body is going to have to reroute that blood flow quickly. So the way that you do this is by setting up a trainer next to a treadmill and going back and forth. So maybe you do 10 minutes on the bike, 5 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes on the bike, 5 minutes on the treadmill. Do that as many times as you can, going back and forth. There's no real specific way to do this. The only idea is to have that minute or 2 where you first hop on the treadmill after the bike, be as close to the bike as possible. So make that transition really quick. You don't have to do this a whole ton, but if you have a tough time getting in brick workouts in general, make sure that you do at least a brick workout. This is a very good brick workout, somewhere around 5 to 6 times before your race. The third good workout that you can do if you're a time crunch triathlete is a technique focused swim workout. This is where you don't worry about how many yards you're swimming or how long you're going to swim that day. You strictly focus on your technique. Now, specifically for first time and early triathletes, what I find is that the struggle is getting comfortable in the water and learning how to float. What these triathletes often do is they struggle and they fight the water, and getting from one length of the pool to the other is a battle. And if that's the case and you have a tough time breathing and a tough time kicking and you're constantly out of breath and you're constantly tired, this is a really good indication that you need to be focusing on your technique so that you don't have to go so hard out in the race. A very good way to do this is learning how to float, learning to calm yourself down, learning how to blow bubbles very consistently without struggle. I'll link to a video that I did up here that'll help you out for that. And you can go to triathlontaren.com/swim online. And if that's the type of swimmer that you are, I think the total immersion will probably be a pretty good program for you. The result of this is that you're going to be overall a more confident swimmer, and you could probably get away with just 1 of these technique focused swim workouts a week because you're not building a ton of swim fitness, you're just building swimming ability, in which case you're still going to be quite fast and you're going to be more comfortable, get through that swim without struggling through it. The 4th best way that you can save some time in your training for triathlon is to commute to work by bike. Why I recommend this is because I actually commute to work by bike, and what I found is that while it didn't build a ton of top end fitness for my bike, my run, my swim, my overall fitness, it certainly raised the floor of when I became unfit. And when I took days off, as long as I commuted in by bike, I didn't lose a ton of my fitness. What I recommend is that you commute to work by bike, and if you need to, take a little bit of a longer route to get in about a 30 to 40 minute bike each way. If you're doing this 3, 4, 5 times a week even, and you're not building that super duper top end fitness, it's still going to help you out because your overall level of fitness is going to be a lot better, and it's not like you're tacking on an additional workout in a week. You're actually just going to work because you go there anyway.
Not a big deal.
And then the fifth and final workout that is a really good bang for your buck to do for triathlon training is a tempo run at your race pace. So the brick workout that we talked about, that accomplishes one of the challenges with triathlon running, and that's getting your legs used to running after the bike. Okay, check that one off the list. Next is being able to run a very long distance. The long bike will help you with that. Check. Another one off the list. Now, what about actually getting your body used to running at that race pace? That's where the tempo run comes in. Tempo runs
make you strong like bull.
So it actually increases the ability for your engine to work harder while still not feeling like it's that much tougher, if that makes sense. So a tempo run is about your goal pace, maybe just 5 to 15 seconds slower than your race pace, and build up to the point that you're going, say, 70 to 80% of the distance, or even over the distance for the short runs as you would in the race. So for a sprint distance, do a tempo run that is anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 kilometers long. For an Olympic, look at like 6 to 9 or 10 kilometers long for a tempo run. So there you have it. Between those 5 workouts, those are probably some of the best bang for your buck workouts that you can do. And if you're time crunched, you have a tough time getting in more than a few workouts a week, these will be the best return on your time spent. I hope this helps. As always, happy and hard training, triathletes, and good luck in your next triathlon.